Welcome, grand rising. Ooh, it's a beautiful, cloudy day in Orlando where I am. And this is my tiny house village. So, welcome everyone. And let's see, we've got Blog Talk running today. So, we're going to welcome our global family in the Female Solution Blog Talk Radio.
Blog Talk Radio. Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, Executive Producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network. Call 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you.
And I'm here this morning. The we in me want to hear from you. This is such a privilege to actually be here every Friday morning. Oops, and my earring just fell off. Every Friday morning and every Sunday night to share my journey. There's this beautiful song I just heard by HER called Her from the movie 6888 that I just play now every day. It's such a beautiful song, and it so describes our lives, most of our lives. The journey, it's called. So here we are, 12/27/24, the end of the 2024 journey. I've been just reflecting on so much from the 2024 journey that just tells me I'm right where I need to be. How about that? You and I are right where we need to be. There's no need to have regrets about 2024 because the divine order of all things says you're right where you need to be. So don't get upset or worried or frustrated about what hasn't been accomplished. Today is the day to start new, to start fresh. So forever grateful to be here every Friday morning to share what I have learned over the last almost 70 years on this planet, rolling and rolling and rolling and rotating and all that. And so I just take a deep breath of gratitude and let out the frustration, the fear, the anger, the bitterness. This is take a deep breath of gratitude, 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 and let out anything from 2024 that you don't want to carry with you into 2025, which is a 9. Now, today is an 11. If you add up all the numbers of 12, 27, 20, 24, it comes to 11. So you say, well, whatever. So what does that mean? I see 11 everywhere. I even called a friend last night who's was diagnosed with cancer recently, and I called them at 11:11. Now, who does that? I had no plan to do that whatsoever, but I looked on the phone as I was leaving a message, and it said 11:11. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so that number can guide us into higher truths, because what I believe is that like 90% of our reality is invisible. So it's what you don't see most of the time that matters. For instance, your feelings. How are you feeling today? Are you tired and you just don't have any energy? Well, that's a sign that your body is recovering, or it's resting, or it's trying to get out all the toxins that have built up. But it's not a bad sign at all if you don't have a lot of energy, but it's a sign that something needs to be done differently. Like resting, for instance. Sometimes all you need to do when you don't have energy is just get more rest if you haven't. And then other times it may mean that you need to stop eating a lot of cheese and bread and cookies and cakes. We have had an amazing Christmas season in my family. My son's girlfriend made dinner Christmas Eve. It was, and I was invited, so I'm grateful, I think. And she made this delicious tomato basil soup. The table was set to perfection. It had all the layers of plates on it in Christmas decoration. And then the soup bowl was taken away, and then we had salad, delicious salad, and then she made lasagna, and that stuck in me for a whole day. I didn't have a BM for a whole day after this meal, so I'm done with that kind of celebration, you might say. It clogged me up too much. The chocolate cake, I had 2 pieces of chocolate cake. I'm not even going to hide that. It was delicious. And then there was, at least I brought my water of with apple cider vinegar and lemon. I drink apple cider vinegar and water and lemon with lemon every meal that is over processed or just cooked, period. If I'm having a salad, I'm not thinking about my salad. I have apple cider vinegar on the in the salad dressing. But if I'm having a meal like I had Christmas Eve, I need my lemon water with apple cider vinegar to help digest it. And even that took a whole day to get that stuff out of me. So here we are on the 11th day of consciousness and awakening to don't keep doing that kind of stuff every day. We don't eat like that every day, but it was so much fun because her parents were there. We had so much laughter. And that's probably why I didn't feel any discomfort at all when eating all that food. But it didn't move through very fast. And I'm used to having whoops out. So let's celebrate today the 11 festivals. Festival actually is a word that means celebration. And today, on the 27th, we're celebrating Kwanza. Kwanza, for those of you. And I'm kind of dressed in the spirit of Kwanza. Can you see my kente cloth band here? I made this actually, and I made it along. I'm going to show you my Kwanza like linen wraps today. But Kwanza, what is Kwanza? Kwanzaa is an African festival created by a man in, I think, 1966. But it celebrates that we just celebrated this week the birth of a man named Jesus Christ. Okay, that was the celebration this week, festival celebration of Jesus Christ, the festival of commercial holiday in the world. And now we're in Kwanzaa, which is a celebration of harvest time in Africa. The word actually in Swahili, for those of you who don't know, just a little history or education, Swahili is what Kwanzaa is translated from. It means the celebrating harvest. Let's see, harvest festivals, first fruits of Kwanzaa. It's matunda ya Kwanzaa. Matunda ya Kwanzaa. I'm in my African spirit here. Matunda ya Kwanzaa means first fruits, the celebration of, and it's Swahili for celebration of first fruits. I love the idea of that. First fruits. We all got to eat fruit now. Let's get off the cakes and cookies and all that. Fruit now, fruit. And so we're celebrating harvest festivals. Now, today, we are going to have a lot of truth. It's going to be a festival of truth, based a kind of a turnaround from the festival of lies we just experienced this week. Festival of truth now. And again, I say truth is 90% invisible, 80 maybe at the lowest. But if you study, what we don't see is what really matters in the scheme of things, in the truth of things. So let's take a deep breath again. Breathe in truth. Breathe in truth. I want truth. I live truth. I am truth. Our body is made up of truth. And so coming out of the festival of lies this week, oh boy, too many lies for me. We even sang happy birthday to Jesus. I didn't say that. I said happy birthday to Yeshua, going along with the whole celebration at the dinner table, which I was outnumbered. So it was a happy, and a cake on the chocolate, candles on the chocolate cake. And I thought, would Jesus be here in this atmosphere? Maybe, maybe not. Go, let's celebrate, have a piece of chocolate cake. So that's the joy, though, that we can express with family. And now we want to, on this show, promote truth. The Festival of Truth today in Kwanzaa. And it's the second day of Kwanzaa. So I got a video that shares what that is, because I can barely pronounce it, what the second day is. So I have someone else coming on to pronounce it. And we are here first and foremost to do joint rolling this early in the morning. I hope you're either in your bed ready to roll, or you're sitting in front of your computer ready to roll. But we need to roll, because this body needs to move. And these joints that we're rolling are really, really powerful representations of truth, with a capital T again. They represent galactic activation portals. Now, I learned that from my sisters and brothers in my synchronistic human class that I've been taking. And I'm in a class just about every week. So I'm learning so many new things. There will be no Alzheimer's or dementia in this brain, because I'm learning too many new things. That's the key. Learn new things and you will not have dementia growing. Because this brain, I want to tell you, there's a crystal in there. And what that crystal loves is new information, stimulated by activity, brain activity. Brain activity. When I do Scrabble games with my friend, brain activity. When I play chess, brain activity. I'm now into puzzles too. I worked a 500-piece puzzle. Let me pat myself on that. Now, it didn't happen in one day, but I did it. I pushed through it, and I had no help from my family. They were not interested in this huge puzzle that I was working. That stimulated my brain so much. I had smoke coming out. I mean, I was like, woohoo, woohoo. I was celebrating. So if you're bored and you think you're alone, you don't have anything to do, buy a puzzle. Start small And that's brain exercise because you've got to match up the pieces with the colors and the positions and all that. And I just love it now. I'm going to start doing puzzles in my older ages when I have nothing else to do. I'll just sit down and work a puzzle. So, welcome, 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 everybody, to Health and Wellbeing with Viata. Let's do some joint rolling. Can we do some joint rolling? Because, again, this show is about the Festival of Truth, capital T. And I got some stuff to show you about this vessel of light. And that's what we're creating today on Health and Wellbeing, a more light in this vessel. And I'm sure wherever you are in your neighborhoods, there's lights everywhere in your environment. But we want to make sure that this temple is lit up because that's your health. That is your health and well-being. If there's darkness in the temple, and I'm going to share with you Dr. Sunil Dahan's latest report about the darkness in here. Cancer again, it's just raising its beautiful head. And I say beautiful head because there's so many lessons when you get a cancer diagnosis, when you have friends who have cancer, just sit back and take note and express your thoughts and do a journal, and you can come out of it way ahead of the fear game because people love to bring fear into the word cancer. But I bought a book one time or from the library, and then I bought it. It said, "Thank God I have cancer." That's the name of the book that's in my library up there. I learned so much back to it's about 20 years ago, maybe more. So don't let the word cancer scare you. It's a wake-up call for those who have it, and it's a educational tool for those who don't. So we have comments from let's see, our sister Zelda says, "Grand Rising, beautiful Brainiac." Wonderful suggestion to keep our seniors active mentally. Yeah. Let's get some puzzles in these nursing homes. They'll wake up quick because they got to exercise their brain instead of sitting there with a remote in their hand. Blah, blah. Better than being on iPad at sucking all the love. Wait a minute. Yeah, iPad sucking all the love, laughter, and brain mother right out of you. That's right. That's right. Being on the iPad is more entertainment, unless you got some kind of game you're playing. But anyway, I've talked enough. It's time for action. And thank you, Zelda. That's some powerful, great words for us to start our joint rolling. Yay! So, as usual, we're going to put on some music. Time for Healing by the Sounds of Blackness. I'm not getting any more copyright notices, I don't think, because I don't own the rights to this music. Let me put up my banner. I don't own the rights to the music. This is all the music is for entertainment, educational purposes. I'm not trying to steal anything. I'm just playing this music that I've been playing for the last 3 or 4 years, actually, for your entertainment and your inspiration, because the words are powerful. Time for healing. The world's gone insane, but we are here to heal the body. So we're going to roll the neck joint, which is a resonant tone. Remember, there is a really, I have found after all these years of joint rolling, there's a very clear divine purpose for rolling these joints because it brings in consciousness about the galactic tones in our body. We're experiencing the activation in the neck of what's called a resonant tone, vibrating, like these little antenna I call them cosmic curls because they're like antennas. See, they're receiving all the time. If your hair is curly and sticking up like this, you're receiving messages all the time on how to live your life the best way you can, because the universe wants us to be powerful goddesses and gods on this planet and to resonate with the universe. So the neck activation, just think of it, resonant tone. Your shoulders are rhythmic galactic tones. Elbows left and right are overtone and solar tone portals. These are portal activation portals, actually. Again, stuff is coming in, information is coming in, energy is coming in. So when we're doing this, we're actually activating overtone solar. The wrists are self-existing planetary tones. The hips are spectral electric tones. The knees are crystal lunar activation portals. The ankles are magnetic cosmic activation portals. So don't just think of this is a body and it just is here for you to do whatever crazy things you need to do, but this is a sacred temple. And that's why we want to bring more light to it today. After all the festival of lies, we got to bring light, light, light. This vessel is starving for light now. Oh my goodness. And then we got move around with Deborah here. I want to get all these comments in. Rising, let me see. Rising 11. I do a lot of puzzles on my electronic. Go Deborah. Go Deborah. Deborah's doing puzzles on her go girl. That's why Deborah will always be sharp in her brain. I know that already, but she's going to always be sharp. Thank you, Deborah, for sharing that. So let's get busy. I know that's why you're here. You wouldn't be here early in the morning if you didn't want to roll joints, because that's what we do. So again, these are special portals that we're in today, activating in every joint. And here's the other 4 reasons why we do joint rolling. Number 1, circulation improves in the vessel. The light is starting to get brighter when we do our circulation is moving, because the blood going through plasma and all that. And then there's immune system building when we are moving all these joints and portals. And then our lymphatic system is draining, doing what it does, pumping this vessel. And then the 4th is muscles. If you're not rolling joints every day, guess what? Your muscles around those joints are getting weaker and weaker and weaker. If you're not using, remember, if you don't use it, you lose it. So we are the smart ones today coming here to roll these joints around. And I'm going to put on time for healing. And we're going to start out with our neck resonant tone activation portal. All right, chin to chest, rolling to one direction slowly. And listen, if you get any pain, please stop and just rest and breathe, or just put hand on that pain and give it a little massage, and it might just move it right out. But let's just keep rolling. The world's gone insane, but that's all right. We are sanely rolling. And let's reverse that. And when you're on your own, do this as long as you feel like you're working out all the kinks. Working out all the kinks from a good night's rest, I hope. Breathing, don't forget to breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. All right, let's do the shoulders, rolling back. Woo! This is actually working those back muscles too. We are just moving these galactic portals in every way. And again, it's an 11. I'm so excited. 11 years with Blog Talk Radio. 11 years in so many areas. 11 years ago, I wrote my first book, and then now it's going to be republished in 2025. And let's go forward with the shoulder rhythmic galactic portal activating. Just imagine the rays of light coming in as you're rolling. Rays of light coming in to the vessel. And let's just go swimming, a little swimming in the sea of energy, because all around us, again, the invisible is what's really important in our lives. And backstroke, let's backstroke a little bit. Woo, that feels so good to my back. My back is like releasing tension. Woo, celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Releasing tension. All right, we're going to get on our backs now and kick up our legs and get the ankles, magnetic cosmic portals open, and the wrists, the self-existing planetary portals opening up, opening up. I see it, I see it, it's coming in. And reverse that. Portals activated. Portals active. We are in a sci-fi movie, you know. This whole journey on Earth is like sci-fi Twilight Zone these days. But that's okay. We're enjoying the journey, right? And let's rub our hands together and massage, love on these knees, and roll the knees around. Muscles stronger, no knee operations. Get up, get up, get up. Just imagine when you're sitting at your desk all day, feet on the floor, and not moving these knees like this. The muscles are going, they're like getting weaker and weaker and weaker. So you got to get up from that desk and just roll the knees around, the lower legs around. Now, again, if you have trouble rolling, then you just bend and flex. Bend and flex. The toe, you do the toes, the feet, and the ankles the same way. We're bending and flex if you don't want to roll, but rolling gives you a little bit more muscle work. So if you don't want to do that, just keep bending and flexing. Now let's just raise our arms and work the elbows because we don't want to miss the, let's see, that's the overtone and solar galactic portals. Come on in, universal energy, come on in and energize this body. We need to imagine the invisible power that's all around us, helping us. If it's not angels, then it's energy from the cosmic forces. Where you came from, we all came from a seed up there. All right, so we're going to move on to our hip. Let's get the hip going here. And let's roll around. Again, this rolling works more muscles. So that's why you want to make sure you bring in the spectral electric energy from the galactic activation portals. Woo, we are rolling now. Woo, hip action, and even in your first chakra, you're waking up that spiral energy in the first chakra when you do this. Can you imagine that right now? All that spiraling energy just coming together. So let's flip over on the other side. And let's get the other side evened up. We're still doing the spectral and electric. Let's see. Spectral and electric. Yep. So this is a celebration. You know, the last couple of days were all about celebrate. Let's reverse. The last couple of days were about celebration, but people celebrate usually with food, okay? And it's not like the first fruits of Kwanza. No, it's food of all kinds. And it's not really food, but it's chemicals that people are putting in their body during this season. Okay, so again, if you have trouble rolling the hip joints around, then you just, when you wake up in the morning, just lift that leg. Look at all the action going in here when you do that. This is blood waking up, and you're stimulating the blood in this area, and in your, again, in your first chakras and your second chakra in this area. All that blood's being circulating better, moving around. Okay, so if you're having trouble rolling, just lift and flex. All right, so let's bring the knees to the chest. Woohoo! Roll around on the back. Give the spinal cord a massage if you can. And if you can, bring those feet together and hands and activate some more energy of your meridians. You got on the map, you're on the bottom of your feet and your hands is the whole map of your whole body, your whole body. That's why they have foot massage, hand massage, reflexology, they call it, because your whole body gets benefit from paying attention to the bottom of your feet and your hands. So, feeling so great. I just want to stay there, but let's roll over and come up. Now, we can't miss a BB, Viata's BBL, because I'm still hearing reports of women being damaged by Brazilian butt lifts. So remember, there's two ways you can improve your butt, and one is to, on your hands and knees, stretch that leg out and lift. This is so powerful. Lift, hold it for a minute, and then just do as many of those as you can on each leg. I'm not going to even limit it, because the more you actually do, the more benefit you're going to receive from it. And then if you don't want to be on your hands and knees, just stand against, hold up, and lift like this. Just lift out, hold it back, and do as many as you can. Those glutes will thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm telling you, they're going to love you, and the strength. And that whole area, the lower chakra, again, you're going to bring strength and power. And you're going to look good in some pants. I guess that's what everybody wants when they wear pants. Women especially, you want some enhanced buttock muscles, whatever. Anyway, we want to just be healthy. That's the main point. So we're going to take a break, commercial break here. And when we come back, we're going to dig in to the light work that we need to do today, creating more light here in this vessel of crystals. I got a powerful video to share with you about how we started out in the womb with light. And then we're going to move from there and talk about the unfortunate cancer rate rise and what we need to do about it. Bring in more light, right? So here we go. Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. I'll get in my studio.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV show invites you to an invigorating, empowering, interactive conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Gathering of the Griots with Asada. Wednesdays, Repairing Family Relationships with Naima and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Veggie Brunch Live with Angela. Fridays, Health and Well-Being with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Global Talks with Zana. Second Saturday, Walk in Your Divine Authority with Mama Joy. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. Fourth Saturday, be a judge on the virtual Teens, Tweens, and Tots Talent Contest. And fifth Saturday, join us on location as we conversate at the Elevate Cafe, owner Jackie Brooks. Sundays, join us 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Go to thefemalesolution.com to join us on our video or audio live streaming platforms. Listen at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. Call in on the Blog Talk Radio Network 515-605-9325 or call in and comment on the On-Air Radio Network 727-731-5192. We want to hear from you.
Yes. So if you're in the Blog Talk Radio studio, just press 1 when you're ready to speak. I want to hear from you. What are you doing? How was your Festival of Lies? I mean, Christmas, whatever, commercial holiday. That's what is so disturbing to me. But yet, I realize how creative people are. I walked through my neighborhood and saw the most amazing display of lights on the lawn unfortunately, I get a little pissed at this house because they leave a lot of trash outside. It's like I go through the neighborhood picking up trash at least once a week. In this particular house, I just pass it by because it's just too much trash in the yard. It's everywhere, and then I realize poverty mind lives here. So I'm like, I have to readjust. No judgment, no judgment. Just keep moving. And then during this last week, all these lights are up, Santa Claus blow ups and everything, and trash is still there. What is it going on in this world? I gotta laugh because it's like, So anyway, calm down. We are now here on the 27th of December, which is and another 11. I'm so excited. And we want to talk about Kwanzaa today. So I got a little video here for you. What is Kwanzaa? It's a festival of lights. That's what we want to be here in this body. No, it's not a festival of lights. It's celebrating harvest festivals. I get that confused with some other holiday. That's another one. But we are having a festival of lights in here because we are all light. But today is Kwanzaa. It's a celebration, which means we are learning new things, basically. So here's a little clip about, just in case you didn't know, what's going on with this day. Here it is. Here's a young lady talking about it.
I'm Tatiana Mott, and today is December 27th, which marks day 2 of Kwanzaa. We light the first red candle to the left of the black candle, and this candle represents the principle of kujichagulia, or self-determination.
I got it.
On this day, we pledge to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. Computer scientist Dr. Timnit Gebru announced plans to launch her own independent research institute after being fired from Google in December 2020 when she refused to remove her name from a research paper she co-authored, claiming to identify ethical risks within the company's artificial intelligence models for processing language. Gebru practiced self-determination, standing firm in her morals and creating the change that she would like to see. Some ways to practice kujichagulia include saying no to things that don't serve you or your community, doing things that bring you joy, or doing something that fear has kept you from achieving.
So, Abarigana. So, there you are. We're creating something new today, becoming more aware of who we really are in this line of energy and light. So one of the things we need to be aware of as we bring in more light is that we're already full of crystals. It's like amazing to me, the things I'm learning about this vessel. That's like my whole life purpose, is to learn more about this master design, which is part of my book title. And so I'm sharing this with you because that's how we're going to bring in more light. The more we understand, let's say the more we understand about what's going on inside, again, the invisible, but we can feel it, then we can charge up those things inside and say goodbye to disease and prevent disease and all those things that are keeping us in darkness. So let me first say, play this about Dr. Sunil Dahan is saying that the cancer rates are exploding. And I say that's partly because we don't have enough light. And so let me just give him a little time here to tell us what's going on with cancer rates and how he feels about it. Because he's just such an amazing physician, conscious physician, about what's going on in the medical sick care system. So I'd like to share his words every now and then.
Hello, everyone. Dr. Sunil Dand, internal medicine physician. Welcome to another video. I want to talk in this video about a very tragic topic, and that is what's going on right now with cancer in the United States, probably happening in many other Western countries, but in the United States, there's much more of a financial aspect involved in terms of certain parties profiting from this disaster. Cancer rates are going up every single year. This is reflected in statistics, And over the last few years, I've seen more and more younger people coming into hospital being diagnosed with cancer. And there are many reasons for this, including exposure to toxins. I believe our terrible ultra-processed food environment is a big reason as well. But there's very little focus on addressing these root causes. Why are more and more people getting cancer at younger and younger ages? It's absolutely tragic. Everybody has a story out there. Every family has been touched by cancer. It's a devastating, horrible illness. Nevertheless, people are profiting from this. Venture capital is moving in, and they are viewing this absolute catastrophe in terms of dollar signs. Venture capital is buying oncology clinics, infusion clinics. More and more oncologists are being trained. They are putting more and more people on lucrative chemotherapy. And I'm not suggesting that once someone is diagnosed with cancer, that they don't need chemotherapy, radiation, or surgery. Of course, those treatment options have to be considered very carefully with your oncologist. My issue is that huge segments of the establishment view this with dollar signs, and more money is being made from people getting cancer at a younger and younger age. And I would like to see more research, more emphasis, firstly, on looking at root causes. Why are people getting more cancer? We can't simply continue in this direction. We must think very carefully about our toxic environment.
Now, I appreciate all that information. Ugh, almost dark, all that darkness going on inside of vessels, because cancer becomes very dark inside when we don't understand it, and we don't know where, like, well, where is it coming? Where are all these people getting cancer? Cancer is actually kind of a blessing because it'll wake people up if they're ready. If not, I'm starting to see that those of us who are observing the person with cancer, we can learn a whole lot about them. Because Louise Hay says that cancer is about a deep hurt in a person's body. So the deep hurt is the low frequency that's actually activating the cancer cells and causing them to grow. Now, here's my map of consciousness that tells you that hurt and fear, and cancer really is about fear too. So we're looking at the red zone on the map of consciousness that's full of fear, anxiety, grief. My sister had so much grief in her body. That's why her breast cancer just exploded in her. And so if you can't come out of this red zone, then that's where cancer is just going to keep growing. So we want to bring you up to the light today. Today is a festival of lights today in our body. Why do we need to focus on the festival of light? Well, number one, to prevent the cancer and the darkness and the disease. But there are crystals in our pineal gland to start. We're going to watch this short clip about the crystals. Crystals are all about light and energy, positive energy. I don't know any crystals that bring out negative energy. So if we're going to get rid of the cancers, the diseases, that whatever they name them, let's be more conscious of the light that's already there, ready to be resonated and mirrored on the outside to help us avoid the dark disease state that some people find themselves in. So here is a little video about there are crystals in your pineal gland that actually are vibrating, but some people, if they're in that red zone of fear, anxiety, that pineal gland is just sitting there doing nothing practically until we activate it with meditation and so much more, wearing crystals, all of that. So here we go. Crystals in our pineal gland? Yes.
Israeli researchers made an astounding discovery. They discovered that there's two types of crystals on and in the pineal gland, and that these crystals actually are tuners or resonators that, if stimulated by sound, these crystals have the piezoelectric effect. They release a positive charge. And this is quite amazing because meditators or people who have ever had an experience where they see a flash of blue light, for example, have experienced the pineal gland under a positive charge, because we now know that the sound waves are converted by the pineal gland into blue light.
What do we feel when the pineal gland is activated, or when we are entering expanded states?
We're just listening and letting our body become into coherence with that which we're listening to safely. We're not activating what's called the amygdala in the brain, which means fear. We now are safe and we're vibrating, right? And so we're not judging, we're not in that state of mind. We completely transcended our default mode network. We would say we're inside the sound. If you have pictures of Emoto, it looked like that in your head. All these ripples are moving through the inner ocean inside of you. The pineal gland itself is like a tuning fork that just shakes like this, right? And it basically causes a spiral effect. That's what Raymond Moody, when he talks about death and dying, people move through this corridor drawn by sound. Basically, we're now able to ascend in octaves to different states of and different perceptions of reality.
But while we're still in this state of earthly existence, we each have a purpose and decisions to make.
We're all fated to walk this path in life, and the path is fated to land us at a fork. And when we arrive at this fork, I have to make a decision. Which fork am I going to make? And this one over here is the tugging of my heart and my soul is telling, go that way, go that way. It's going to make the best use of you. The universe says yes to you. This way is a path of safety. Adults in my life are saying, grow up, get a job, work for safety, lay away some money on the side for your retirement. Most of us do that.
Others take the road less traveled
And enter into the universal hero's journey to find the meaning of my soul.
So there you go. Choices. Which path do I take? Someone tells me I have, quote, cancer growing in my body. Which path do I take? Radiation, chemo, surgery, the medical sick care system, or do I go on a journey to bring out the light in me, which is there from the very beginning? But we have so many things that happen to us that put the light out. Now, here's a very interesting scientific video that shows the flash of light at the moment the sperm hits the egg. What? How can? That's how advanced technology is, thank goodness, that they actually were able to capture the moment a sperm hit the egg. So that's where we all started, with light. And then mama's worries, mama's fears come in, and the light gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. And then we grow up and the doctor says, you have cancer. Yeah, we've been taking in so much dark words, dark energy. But let's just take a look at this amazing scientific video of the flash of light that occurs when the sperm meets the egg. Check this out.
It's an egg, and showing the moment of conception, the moment the sperm enters the egg, there is now documented source of light that enters the egg. The moment of conception, the very moment that the sperm enters the egg, there is a flash of light, and the light has entered the world. Just as when Jesus was placed in the womb of Mary, the Virgin, God himself gave his son, and the light came into the world. This video is under a special microscope. It's an egg, and showing the moment of conception, the moment the sperm enters the egg, there is now documented source of light that enters the egg, the moment of conception.
So I don't know if you noticed on the side, it had 111 views or something, or thumbs up, 111. There we go. How coincidental is that synchronistic event? 111 people thumb up on that. Wow. So when we think about the portal, the vagina is a portal, right? And the sperm is actually considered to be a light from heaven coming in. And then when the two together, burst of light, burst of light, burst of light. So now, instead of thinking about all the Christmas lights and all the lights around us on the outside, how about we focus on creating more of that burst of light, burst of light, burst of light. So here's another reality that we need to look at, and we're going to go over time because this video is so important. Only the awakened will understand about Santa Claus. Because Santa Claus, when you look at Santa Claus in the third dimensional stuff and the gifts and the kids waiting with cookies and milk and all that interesting phenomena, there's a bigger picture of light around even the Santa Claus myth or metaphor. Santa Claus is a metaphor of something much, much bigger. And so today, again, we're sharing about the truth, the festival of truth, the Kwanza spirit, the festival of truth. This is about self-determination today in the second day of Kwanza. Kujichagulia, I think I got it right. Self-determination. Who are you? Who are you? Here's the story. Here's the summary of who you are on a much bigger, or no, not much more truthful scale. Who are you? And the Santa Claus story was just a metaphor, or is a metaphor to direct us to a much bigger truth. And this is how it starts.
The story of Santa Claus. Why he comes down the chimney is because this juice, or this whatever substance, actually passes what's called the claustrum, which is where they got Santa Claus. So it goes down the chimney and back up the chimney.
The claustrum is a little closet just below the cerebrum where all the cerebrospinal fluids, i.e. chrism, is produced. It's called the Holy or the Santa Claustrum. So Santa Claus is in your head at the North Pole. Yeah. Well, obviously this is the North Pole. This point here in acupuncture is called Polaris, the North Pole. The Chinese know this. And this is the dome of heaven. The claustrum, which is here, the Santa Claustrum, it releases oils which go down the chimney, down to the solar plexus, or the sacral plexus.
Inside our head, in the skull, we have the cerebrum, and there's a special part in it called the claustrum. This claustrum is right in the middle of our head, and it releases a special kind of brain fluid, an oil. In ancient Greek, this fluid was known as Christos, or the Christ. This wonderful fluid starts from the cerebrum and flows down through the spinal cord. It travels down to the lower back, near a group of bones called the sacrum. The sacrum is made up of 5 bones joined together, right at the bottom of our spine. Below the sacrum is the coccyx, the very end of the spinal column. Close to the sacrum, there's a network of nerves called the sacral plexus. The oil from the cerebrum goes all the way down to this lower part of the spine. The claustrum is also called the holy claustrum because of this special oil, this crystal-like substance it creates. The word sacred is thought to come from secretion because this secretion is a hidden thing, and the sacrum is the sacred part of the secret. As the secretion travels down the spinal cord to the sacrum, we see the amazing design of our body. The spinal cord is really an extension of the brain, and it helps with thinking too. Now, about the holy claustrum, it's also called the Santa Claus drum. This is because the fluid that flows to the sacral plexus is considered sacred. This idea is where the Santa Claus story comes from, with him bringing gifts down the chimney. It's a tale about how our bodies work. Also, the Bible can be seen as a guide to how our bodies can renew themselves. Here's what happens. Every month, when the moon is in the same zodiac sign as when you were born, a special seed or germ is formed in the solar plexus, just above the sacral plexus. This germ is the oil, the Christ, born in Bethlehem. In this context, Bethlehem is another name for the solar plexus where this Christ or seed begins. This seed, this oil, is meant to go back to where it started in the midbrain. As the oil moves up the spinal cord, its vibration, the energy of the Christ oil, gets stronger. But first, the oil is processed in the pineal gland and the pituitary gland before it travels down the spinal cord. The pineal gland is linked with electricity, while the pituitary gland is associated with magnetism. The oil is separated out, and then it travels down the spinal cord through the pingala and ida nerves. These nerves are also called the kundalini and the kundabuffa. The oil reaches the sacral plexus and waits for a special seed to form once a month, which happens 12 times a year. If we manage to transform this seed and make it rise, it moves up the spinal cord. It then gets to the medulla oblongata, the pons, the midbrain, crossing the vagus nerve, also known as pneumogastric nerve. This nerve starts in the brain area, near the pineal and pituitary glands, and it goes to the lungs and the stomach. This whole nerve system is called the tree of life. The ancients believed that this seed, born in Bethlehem every month, is the Christ. They thought if a person avoids sexual activity during this time, the oil and seed are preserved. Then they rise, passing through the heart chakra, then the throat chakra, increasing in vibration as they go. At the start, the oil has a low vibration, but with meditation, proper breathing, good eating, and peaceful behavior, this Christ oil can be raised. It then crosses the vagus nerve at the top of the spine, which has 33 vertebrae. The reason for this is that Christ symbolically dies at 33 years old. When the oil reaches the top of the spine, it finds the optic thalamus, a small egg-shaped part in the middle of the head. As it crosses the pneumogastric nerve, this is referred to as the crucifixion. But the oil isn't destroyed. Instead, its power increases 1,000 times. It then touches the optic thalamus and stays there for 2.5 days in a state that seems like death. After this time, it moves to the pineal gland, lighting up both the optic thalamus and the pineal gland. The Egyptians and Greeks called the optic thalamus the light of the world because they understood their body's anatomy and physiology. They knew about this precious oil that came from the claustrum in the cerebrum, was processed in the pineal and pituitary glands, and traveled down the spine. They believed that it would eventually rise again, and the enlightened people could make this Christ oil rise to the optic thalamus, illuminating it. What happens next is that millions of previously inactive brain cells are now activated. There are certain behaviors that can harm this oil, like eating too much, drinking alcohol, and having sex at inappropriate times. These actions can destroy the seed. This is what is referred to as eating from the tree of life. The ancients believed that when this oil is used up due to excessive indulgence, it leads to the death of the body. The oil from the cerebrum is also called the manna, from heaven. Heaven refers to the raised area, the head, the dome, atop the torso, seen as the heavens. The heart and its chakra were known as the Midgard, or Middle Garden. The reproductive area was likened to Sodom and Gomorrah, a place of base desires, also known as Egypt, hell, and the world. In contrast, the Garden of Eden and the land flowing with milk and honey are considered to be in the higher regions of the body. The pineal gland produces a honey-like secretion containing DMT, and the pituitary gland produces a milk-like substance. This is the milk and honey. The land flowing with milk and honey is found in the upper part of the body. The sacredness of this oil is crucial. Learning how to elevate this oil is key to becoming enlightened and accessing the higher mind. That's pretty interesting. Now, let's hear what Santos Bonacci has to say. His insights on this topic are truly fascinating.
Now, if you would like to hear what Santos Bonacci has to say, you can go to YouTube, because that video is pretty long, and I want to hear from you. I believe we have a caller in Blog Talk Radio. I was just so fascinated when I first heard that video because of the light coming out, and the truth coming out about who Santa Claus really, where that came from. All of this drama and creativity around the 25th of December. There's always an underlying meaning, truth to it, as you just witnessed. So it helps us not to be so judgmental, maybe, but there's a bigger truth. And today we want to highlight the truth of the light within us. Now, I want to just put a plug out for this is my African linen. It has a little dancers on it, African dancers on it, and it's made of this is made of cotton, the fabric, but on the other side is the linen, the solar plexus yellow. You may not be able to see it, but it's a yellow linen fabric, and it can be worn again as a hoodie, sort of. We can actually wear it as a hoodie. See, if it's chilly. But this is why what you just saw was why we need to be covering our bodies with something other than plastic, polyester. And that's what the majority of fabrics are made out of, because the petroleum industry, that's what polyester is made from, had all this waste that they didn't know what to do with. So they created polyester. Yay for them. Good for them. But now when you have this knowledge about who you really are, the light within you, the power within you, you don't want to squash. It's like putting one of those fire blankets over a fire with polyester. It's like using polyester to cover your body is like putting out the light. Do we want to put out the light, or do we want to enhance it with linen? So think about what type of linen you want to create. I'm creating custom-made linen garments, and they just basically have armholes and a lot of fabric that covers you and enhances and brings out your light. So let's see who's in the studio. 262-833. Your mic is open. Welcome and thank you for joining us this morning on Health and Wellbeing. Who's calling? And state your name, where you're calling from, please.
Greetings and grand rising and much love. Can you hear me?
Oh, Brother Eddie, I should have known that number. Yes, I can hear you very well. Thank you for joining us. How are you this new day?
I'm great. I'm wonderful, fantastic, and I'm in the crystal light right now. So I'm feeling good listening to what you're giving, and just to put some numbers on, and for me, to help us understand the numbers.
Yes.
Because you started off with 1111, and understanding the message that the numbers is trying to relate, we have to figure out the words behind the numbers so that we can apply them to what the message of the numbers is trying to reveal to us.
Absolutely.
So, for instance, you were walking around and loving the atmosphere, but looking at the waste of what people were doing for Christmas. Well, in actuality, when you understand that 1111, single digit comes to 4, that's key in what's being given to you, because Christmas comes to 4. That's 1111 when you break it down. So even when we put the word Merry in front of Christmas, it still stays the same. It goes from the number 40, Christmas equals 40. Merry Christmas equals 58. 5 plus 8 is 13, which is still a 4. So during Christmas or any holiday, because guess what? Every holiday we celebrate, holiday comes up to 22. 1111 said another way. We're supposed to be spreading the gifts from within us, the spiritual essence within, because gifts comes to 31, the 4. The gifts that we share is the truth. Truth is 31. The 4. You get a little perturbed because you see while you're walking and enjoying the lights and that people aren't sharing the truth, because that's what the present is all about. We are the present in the present. And being in the present, we're supposed to deliver the joyful noise. Present comes to 32, which is 5. Joyful noise comes to 41, which is 5. This is the presence that we're supposed to give, which is sharing and telling and delivering the truth. So we have to start looking at different ways, because by the numbers, we're always into the truth. We can replace it with God, because God is also 13, which is 4. Truth is 31, which is 4. Trust is 31. This has all been kept a secret, family. Secret is 31. Once we know the secret, we become better. Better is 31. That's the only way we become better, because we're linked to the numbers, to that 1111, that 4, that God, that real truth, that temple is 23, which is 5. Crystals is 32, which is 5. You played a tape and the man was explaining how the chemicals from the pineal gland, well, pineal gland is 32 to 5. Chemicals are 32 to 5. Your spinal cord comes to 32 to 5. It all is following a whole path. But when we see the numbers, we can connect the dots. That's why we have to find out what the numbers are saying by locating the words. Once we get the words, we understand how to resonate this light that comes from those crystals to the temple, to the pituitary gland. I'm sorry, but pituitary is also 41, because understanding the science of how the rays being 14, which is 5, hits the pituitary, which is 41. Chemical from the light transfers to the pituitary, 32, that travels down the spinal cord and up the spinal cord. Spinal cord is 32. It all starts, too, with sex, when he was talking about that light at conception. Well, sex is 14 to 5. It all resonates from the brain. Brain is 14, and it comes from the thought within the brain. Thought is 41. When we see all these words, or preferably the numbers behind the words, we can start figuring out the gaps that have been left out. And when they tell us the science, we can put it together and see it for ourselves. And then we're able to explain exactly what the numbers are telling us, because at the end of the day, the 5, the crystal coming from the temple, coming from the pituitary, the pineal gland, and your spinal cord, it all deals with another word, same number, but sex is called love. Love is 14, and we have to give that love and share love. Share is 23. And it's all done in peace. And peace is 23. It's so much that we say that we really don't recognize, because it's all coded within us. Code is 14. This is what's being unveiled right now, because they've all taught us so much junk that we don't need. Well, junk is 14. And they call it your junk DNA. There's no junk within our DNA. It's what they don't recognize that we are awakening to. This code within us, this crystal that we're born with at conception of that light, which is no more than reflecting the beginning that was called the Big Bang Theory. This is why the portal, being 20, is the vessel. Vessel is 20, which is the vagina. Vagina is 20. That is coming directly from the universe. Universe is 38, which is a 2 also. And it's the communication. Communication is also 38, which is 2. That the cosmos being 2 is letting us know. And it's coming from don't put it on their story of Lucifer, but guess what? Lucifer is also 32. But this is why you have balance, because Christ is 32. But that's another story for another time. So I've been long-winded. Thank you for your time, family. And I hope I've answered some of the things dealing with the numbers we start seeing. We have to find the words, because the numbers are only the messengers that are giving us a message. That's why message is also 31. That's the 4. You're receiving messages every time you see 1111. We got to find the message, family. Peace and love.
Wow. Grateful, grateful, grateful for that lesson on numerical values and the language. What Brother Eddie, thank you so much, Brother Eddie. What he just shared is the language of the universe. And so we are connecting today with not just the celebration of harvest festivals from Africa, day 2 of what is it? Did I get it right? Kuji Chagulia, but we're connecting with numbers every day, every day. And the more we are conscious of this, the more we're activating the light within us, so that we don't have to spend a lot of money decorating our houses with light. If we are more focused on the light, developing this light within us with the awareness of numbers, and I've just put on another linen. This is my full linen garment, and it's trimmed in kente cloth. So look at that. This is vibrating at a 5,000. So when you cover yourself with this, you're bringing out the light, because it's not going to put the fire out. Like polyester actually puts the fire out in you. So if you're struggling in any way and you're wearing clothing that you never even thought about what it was made of, it's just so beautiful. When I see these ads on Facebook of clothing, they're all over. They come up all the time. Every time I open up my Facebook, there's an ad for some beautiful dress or a clothing. And then when I go to check out the material, polyester, most of the time. So that is intentional, I found out. I think it's very intentional to put out your light. So it's not just that I'm trying to promote a garment I'm making, but it's to wake us up to not only what Brother Eddie just taught us about, the frequency of words. The frequency of words is what we just heard. All words have a frequency. And the more we pay attention to what's coming out of our mouth and what we put in our mouth, the more light we're going to have shining from us. And again, linen is 5,000, polyester is 50. So what do you want to cover your light vessel with? Polyester that puts the flame out, like those new fire blankets. They got these fire blankets. My son's girlfriend bought him one. So if I had, because I put a pot on the stove one day and I forgot about it. Came back over to my house and forgot about it. There was smoke everywhere. So he bought a fire blanket for me. Yay! So if grandma gets mindless or whatever, there's the blankets there to puts it out right away. No water needed, all that. So that's what polyester does. It puts out the fire in you. So I would recommend for the 2025 experience you're going to have, start out looking at all the garments you've been wearing, and anything with polyester in the trash. It's intentional. I'm telling you, do your research. It's very intentional that the fabric industry put out polyester. The minds of the elite, those who create the And that's part of the reason some of the bodies are experiencing the C word is because they've had the in the arm. Because they're like monster explosion cancers now because of. So we just, again, let's be more mindful of words that we want to vibrate with light, words that we want to create a new environment, clothing that we want to help us bring out more light, keep the light going, and not put it out. Go through your closets, just start reading all the labels. Polyester, you're out. And your closet will be less cluttered. Believe me, I helped a friend go through her closet when she started learning about the polyester. She said, I need to go through my closet. Help me. So we went through the closet. I would say 90% of her wardrobe was polyester. And she had a hard time letting go of that polyester. Because why? They make the fabric so lovely and beautiful that you can't resist. But do you want your light to shine? Or do you want to put out the fire and wear lovely clothing? Okay. So any more comments? It's after 9. I'm grateful to be here and have you share. Thank you again, Brother Eddie, for that very enlightening teaching on the frequency of words and numbers. Words and numbers go together. So do your research or contact Brother Eddie for more enlightenment. But he's a part of our family here on the Female Solution. So I'm so grateful when he shows up to help us be more mindful of words and numbers that show up in our life that we need to pay attention to, because it's going to help us shine our light better than ever. So we have come to the end of our show, and I can't leave without at least sharing why I'm in this place I'm in. This is my 320 square foot of space that I live in. I love. Every night, every morning, I look up at my ceiling and I'm just full of gratitude that I have this comfortable, small space. No more McMansions for me. I'm done with that mess. I had the swimming pool, the 2-car garage, the big house. Don't need it anymore. But for those of you who do, just be mindful of all that energy in that space. What is it bringing to your temple of light? That's the most important part about any house that you choose to live in. What is the environment like on the inside of that place is it cluttered? Is it congested? Is it bringing you the healing energy that you need with incense, with essential oils and beautiful colors? Or is it cluttered with old things that you may need to get rid of because it's not bringing you the healing you need? Whatever. Think about, meditate on what type of changes you can make to bring more light out of the already lit up crystals in your body. Okay, so I want to just leave with my tiny house village rock and rollin' reminder that sometimes it's better to go tiny for more peace of mind. And that's a journey that's continuing for me. This is my workstation here. And when I leave, I get to sleep in king size beds and enjoy the company of very conscious people. And I saw a hand go up in Blog Talk Studio. So I'm going to open up the mic because I want to hear from you. So raise your hand if you want to speak. And this is the last opportunity. We're almost done. So 321-368. Your hand is up. Give us your name, where you're calling from.
This is Mikhail. I just wanted to ask, great show, great, I'll say, awakening, awareness, and whatnot. And thanks and praise to the Most High for you, what you're doing, and be blessed. I want to ask Eddie concerning the number 3. Could he just give me a quick idea of the number 3? I understand the other numbers and things that he's been bringing out. I understand that, but I wanted to know the basics around the number 3.
Okay, Eddie, your mic is open. If you can hear, that's Mikhail asking about the number 3. Can you answer that?
Yes, well, we have the number 3 that we dealing with the Trinity, and Egypt is mother, father, child. And when you look at the 3, again, start investigating the word along with that number. So 3, the number 3 spelled out, THREE, comes to 28. 2 plus 8 is 10 or 1. So the 3 into 1, this is what we all talk about, even when it's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, comes to 82. 8 plus 2 is 1. That's 28 in reverse. It's hidden in plain sight. 3, by words we deal with, you have a connection to 3. Connection comes to 30. Your memories are in your connection. Memories are 30. The process that you go through, process is 30. It's in your DNA. It's called your cell. Cell is 12, which is 3. You have that whole process. But okay, you have a question you wanted to ask?
Yes, Eddie. Okay, because in the scripture it talks about 3 days. There's a lot. 3 days is really mentioned a whole lot. Also, I was recalling about 3 possibly having to do with strength, because it was talked about a cord that has 3 strands is better than, of course, a cord that just has 1 strand or 2. So could you elaborate on that, please?
The cord and strands, okay, I'm not familiar with the Bible text as far as those things are concerned, but yeah, it's all talking about the connection to your cell, to your body, to your temple. Everything's connected, and when you, like I say, everything you have to do, you have to take that time out to find the number behind those words. So the words that I gave you to come to 3, it's just like you have to, which is 3, it is 12. You have to claim what's already in you, claim what you're searching for, because it's a reason that it resonates with you that you're looking for it. Whatever you're looking for is looking for you.
Wow. Wow. You know what?
But
you know
that's
what
we have to do.
Wow.
Go ahead, Sister Viata.
You know what, brothers? My brothers, Eddie and Mikhail, I watched a teaching on sacred geometry last week. Whoa, talk about 3. Let's bring in 3. The Merkabah is a chariot of light. Thank you, Yah. Thank you, Yahuwah. This comes full circle today in what we're talking about, creating light in the temple of crystals. Because in this teaching, he talked about the triangle, which is 3-sided, is the basic foundation of every sacred geometry in the universe. I mean, you're talking about going from a plain triangle, 3-sided figure, right? 3-sided geometry. I got excited when I saw this about geometry again, because before this, geometry was this difficult math to learn, blah, blah, blah. But the Merkaba, or the chariot of light, which we are the Merkaba. We are the chariot of light, roaming around here totally mindless and with amnesia. But the fact that Michael brings up the three reminds us the triangle is the basic formulation in the third dimension, and then it morphs and metamorphs and transforms into fourth dimensional geometry in all kinds of forms, starting with and then you go into the flower of life and all those other complex figures. But the basic formula of who we are is a three-sided triangle, and it shows up in everything you put under the microscope. You could even in like the geometry here with the chakras. It all started with a three-sided triangle in the creation of the universe. And then all that we see, the sunflower, the bees, the bird, all of them have sacred geometry that metamorphosizes and transforms into more complex, deep figures, including the crystals in our pituitary and our pineal. They start out there's a sacred geometry even in those crystals that started as a triangle. Even we started as a triangle with that burst of light when the sperm met the egg. That was a triangular burst of energy that multiplied into those circles. You know how the egg, you've seen how the egg, once that sperm and egg come together, that meeting of Yah, the sacredness of it, the portal, then it starts to create more sacred geometry in our cells with these circular forms around the triangle. So, thank you, Michael, for bringing that up, the number 3. That was definitely divine guidance. And then, of course, we have our teacher, Eddie, here to bring us to the next level. Wow, I'm so grateful that this...
Thanks. Thank you for sharing that.
And that's where...
And I wanted to add to it right quick. You brought up dealing with the chakras and the 7 as understanding even... They just teach it differently. The 7 chakras are called the 7 liberal arts. And starting with the 3 and the 7 liberal arts is called quadrivium. And then we have, the trivium, quadrivium. So the 3 would be the trivium, which is language, rhetoric, and grammar. This is the lower 3 chakras. In order to get to the quadrivium, we're dealing with what we're talking about right now. That's arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. This is where we're headed to get to the 4th and 5th, 6th, and so forth dimensions. Because being stuck in the trivium, which is the language or grammar we use, the rhetoric and the logic, and it's whose logic we've been given that we keep recycling in that triangular shape in the lower 3 chakras. So another one just to add to the mix of what we're talking about with the 3, dealing with 7 chakras and reflecting the 7 liberal arts and the trivium, quadrivium.
Thank you so much.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. What a celebration of light today. As the 3 of us,
90 seconds,
are bringing out the truth with a capital T that we maybe didn't get in the last few days with the Festival of Lies. All right, so great. So here, let's say goodbye to our global family, because this is a global platform. So we appreciate all of you, wherever you are. Good evening, good afternoon, buenos dias. Light to all of you as we say goodbye.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, zhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, John Couillon. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jaref. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.
And to all my yogi friends out there, sadnam, namaste, mwah, mwah, mwah. Love, love, love to all you friends and family in Hawaii. Aloha, aloha. Everybody go out, get some sun, because that's going to activate the light within you. All right. Shalom.